The macabre secret behind the robot baby the billion-dollar industry doesn't want you to know. It was just another doll. At least, that's what Helena thought when she bought the reborn baby as a gift for her 6-year-old daughter. But something felt wrong from the start. The baby didn't blink, but it seemed to watch. What was supposed to be a realistic toy started making noises at night, and there were no batteries inside. Within days, the daughter began talking to the doll as if it were a living child. So far, nothing unusual. But she claimed the baby responded. When Helena decided to sell the doll, her daughter cried, screamed, kicked. "She'll be alone," she said, as if the doll had a soul. Only after searching online did Helena discover that this specific model had been recalled in 2019 after several incidents. The manufacturer never admitted the reason for the recall, but hidden records showed the model had been tested in a psychiatric hospital. The reborn baby, contrary to what many believe, is not just a realistic toy. It was in fact the prototype of a $1 million psychological experiment. And this is not a conspiracy theory, it's a documented fact buried in forgotten files from a 2013 scandal in Europe. Today, you're going to uncover the untold, macabre, real, and billion-dollar story behind the baby that never closes its eyes and never sleeps. In 2011, a German biotechnology company called Neurolux Industries received a secret government contract. The goal, honestly, was to test the emotional connection between humans and robots in an advanced stage of realism. The target audience, women who had lost children, victims of miscarriage or stillbirth. It was in this context that the Reborn Alpha 9 project was born, a robotic baby developed with heat, sound, and autonomous eye movement sensors. The babies were given to mothers as experimental alternative therapy, but no one knew the reactions were being filmed, documented, and sold to investors. The data was used to build an emotional database, a map of human responses to grief, loss, and maternal bonding. When the first incidents began, mothers refusing to return the babies, psychotic breaks, suicide cases, the project was officially cancelled. But the dolls were not destroyed. Some were diverted by employees and sold on the black market for rare toys. One of them is exactly the one that ended up with Helena. Years later, the modern reborn baby, sold by collectors and luxury stores, carries this dark legacy. And well, you'll understand why it still represents a goldmine for the industry. The reborn baby industry moves over $20 billion a year globally. And, this isn't just because of collectible dolls. It's really due to a hidden market emotional simulation of human bonding. Psychiatric hospitals, medical training centers, and even AI companies use reborns to test human reactions and train systems. Companies like Deep Care Labs in the United States train nurses using reborn babies equipped with internal sensors and artificial intelligence. Other models are used by robotics companies to collect data on maternal behavior. Data that is sold to marketing, advertising, and even defense companies. How? Well, imagine knowing exactly what makes a mother emotionally react. This is used to create irresistible ads or train persuasion algorithms. Every tear, every smile while holding a reborn baby is captured by invisible sensors and turned into valuable information. That's why the most advanced models sell for up to $15,000 with years-long waiting lists. And you thought it was just a doll to pass the time. The reborn baby has become the most powerful emotional interface in the modern industry, and no one is talking about it until now. In 2017, a batch of so-called smart reborns was quietly launched at tech fairs in Japan and South Korea. They came with an internal module called NeuroCore Lite, which is basically a microprocessor designed for emotional learning. The technology actually came from a discontinued military project that aimed to simulate civilian behavior in war zones. The idea was pretty simple: understand the emotional impact of strategic decisions on simulated civilians. But, the most effective way to study this was with artificial mothers and babies. That's why they used the Reborn's design as the ideal container for the module, visually harmless but neurologically active. These models started being sold as educational or therapeutic, but in reality, they secretly had the ability to capture human emotions in real time. A leaked report in 2019 from a South Korean lab shows these babies could actually detect patterns of anxiety, affection, and rejection in adults. All of this data was sent to remote servers, and the buyers had no idea. The investigation was hushed up, but a company involved in the case, EvoBaby, grew 900% in the following years and was purchased by an American fund that's linked to the arms industry. What was once just a doll had now become a silent emotional listening device used for something much bigger, to map and manipulate human emotions on a massive scale. So, a shocking case occurred in Austria in 2020. An 82-year-old woman was found dead, right next to a reborn baby. The report indicated, multiple organ failure. But the strangest part, she had actually left all her assets in the doll's name. This woman suffered from loneliness and had been gifted the Reborn through an experimental elderly care program. Over time, she developed these extreme emotional bonds, treating the doll like a real child, with documentation, clothes, and even a full nursery. The doll's model had a vocal response chip based on AI, which honestly had been remotely activated by researchers. The elderly woman truly believed the baby was growing, learning, and loved her. The most disturbing part? After her death, recordings of her conversations with the doll were sold to a machine learning startup. The company used all that material to train an emotional AI model, now used in companion robots in places like Japan and Dubai. The woman's soul, in the form of words, laughter, advice, and laments, was digitized and sold. All thanks to a reborn baby, the child that never died because it was never born, but it learned to live and, profit. There is a black market for customized reborn babies, and we're not just talking about simple personalized dolls. On secret, deep websites, it's possible to order reborns with specific physical traits, even mimicking real babies. There are reports of some truly bizarre requests. I want it to look like my son who died in 2012. I want it to cry like my neighbor's baby. This opened the door to a macabre market visual cloning of missing children. The FBI has investigated at least 37 cases in the United States where reborns were identical to babies from public records or police reports. Three-dimensional facial printing technology was used by anonymous manufacturers to create perfect replicas, used in simulations and in some cases by criminals. One case reported in Mexico in 2021 linked a human trafficking network to the sale of reborns used as pre-selection models for real kidnappings. The dolls were sent to clients who tested the appearance, weight and features before taking action. The case was covered up, but the dolls were found, and they were terrifyingly realistic. The reborn baby became currency, a currency of plastic flesh and a fake soul. Today, reborns are no longer just in collectors' hands. They are in ordinary family homes, and that's no accident. Big companies like Amazon, Target and Alibaba pushed cheaper models and distributed them globally. Many come with sensors that connect via Bluetooth to apps, under the guise of monitoring or educational games. These apps collect behavioral data from children and parents, schedules, reactions, spoken phrases, emotional responses. What seems like a cute toy is in fact a data collector in baby form. In 2023, a class action lawsuit in the United States accused a reborn manufacturer of selling children's usage data to advertising companies. Among the data sold sleep habits, mother's voice patterns, simulated crying frequency. Companies use this to create emotional profiles and target ads with terrifying precision. When you buy a reborn baby for your daughter, you may be unknowingly selling your household's emotional intimacy. Today, Your family is no longer just a home, it's a potential target. In a shadowy corner of Romania, in the city of Pitești, operates a lab called Orbis Unit, funded by a British conglomerate tied to the pharmaceutical industry. What appears to be a behavioral research centre is actually one of the largest producers of neuroactive reborns in Europe. Former employees report that the dolls are tested in simulated environments of grief, sensory deprivation and emotional isolation. In a dark room, hired women are forced to care for reborn babies for 12 hours a day as part of a forced bonding experiment. The data collected from these sessions is sold to emotional AI and behavioral marketing companies. In 2022, an anonymous tip led investigators to the location. But on the day of the inspection, everything was clean. However, the building had a basement with 3 hidden levels, with cameras, heat sensors and entire rooms with bars. Among the findings, reborns with glass eyes capable of recording video and audio in 4K, others with programmable response modules. They weren't just simulating feelings, they were learning from human suffering. The investigation report was suppressed due to lack of evidence. But leaked documents show the project continues, with new babies being shipped to countries in Latin America and Africa. One of the most striking features of reborn babies is their gaze. Vivid, fixed, deep. But there's more behind it, something that's only now beginning to surface. In advanced models, the eyes aren't just glass or acrylic. They're made with special lenses sensitive to light and movement. An investigation by Digital Shadows magazine in 2023 revealed that some models sold as premium editions had hidden cameras in their eyes. These cameras constantly recorded the surroundings, sending encrypted footage to servers in Taiwan. The manufacturer's justification? Well, they claim it's all about monitoring to improve user experience. But honestly, the data went far beyond that. In some cases, they captured entire homes, private interactions, even intimate moments. The most chilling part? Some of these images were actually found on advertising agency servers, and others ended up on private surveillance forums. From this, a new theory started to emerge. The eyes of the reborns are being used to create a visual and emotional map of the homes they're in, an all-seeing eye in baby form, a toy that spies and profits. Today, the most expensive reborns in the world are not sold in stores. Instead, they're sold at secret auctions to millionaires, neuroscientists, and military buyers. These models, known as NDR units, neuro-dependent replicas, have microchips that are actually capable of simulating autonomous learning. One of these reborns can cost up to $48,000. And each unit is unique because it learns from whoever raises it. A Russian businessman even reported that his reborn mimicked his accent after months of interaction. Others say their units react to the emotional state of the home. The technology behind them is classified, but it's known to involve embedded machine learning and adaptive responses based on EEG, human brain activity. In other words, they're not just dolls, they're mirrors of the human unconscious, observing, absorbing, simulating. The purpose? Some say it's emotional, others control, most likely pure financial interest. The industry has discovered that by manipulating what we feel, it can guide us, sell to us, shape us, and a baby is the most effective way to do that. Today, the reborn baby is more than a toy. It is an interface between you and the system, and you never knew it, but now you do. And what will you do with that information? You've just learned a story no one wants you to know. Behind the bright eyes and rosy cheeks of the reborn baby lies one of the darkest and most profitable experiments in modern history. A machine designed to look innocent, but that collects emotions, simulates feelings, and turns it all into profit. We're talking about a market involving governments, militaries, scientists, data companies, and pharmaceutical giants. And it all starts with a gift that seems harmless. A doll, a baby, a living life. Now that you know the truth, you are part of the small minority that is awake. And because of that, the system will try to silence you, distract you, ridicule you. But here on this channel, the truth won't be swallowed. It will be exposed. It hurts, but it frees. If you want to keep exploring the darkest secrets of invisible money and the hidden industries that control the world, subscribe now to Envy Dollar, Eyeball Billionaire Dollar, hit the bell and share this video, because this story is real and they don't want it to spread.